Hey there, Jeff Nelson here. I wanted to start a conversation, or actually I think we already have started it, on veganism and the state of veganism. And what is the state of veganism today on social media and on YouTube? I kind of think that we're losing, that it's not really what it should be. You kind of have to start out asking, what does veganism mean? Why are you vegan? What's the purpose of being vegan? Is it to make a personal statement? Is it your personal philosophy that you want to live this life and try to be as pure as you can in avoiding all animal products for food and for non-food uses? Is it about looking at other vegans and seeing how they're doing? Are they as good as you? Should they be excommunicated? They're not vegan. We've had some videos, we've been talking about that a little bit. For me, veganism is about three things. It's about addressing the really horrible treatment of animals and how they're used for food and products. It's about the environment that's destroyed by our belief that we can take animals and use them and hurt them and destroy the environment in order to have them. And it's about human health. Veganism is a way to bring these three issues together and kind of make a statement about, look, the root problem for some really big problems that we face today are the fact that we have animals, that we're eating animals, that we're using animals, that we feel animals are ours to use however we want, and it's coming back, it's boomeranging back on us in a lot of awful ways. Being vegan is a way to, make a statement about that, and it's an opportunity to raise the awareness of other people about these kinds of issues just by being vegan and then by advocating being vegan. But I think that right now on the internet and in the marketplace, we're kind of slipping, we're kind of losing, we've lost our way a little bit. And I want to read from an article there's just from a few days ago in Forbes magazine. The article is called, "Amid Surge of Money into Alternative Foods, Some Say It's Time to Bury the Word Vegan." The article is too long to go into here. I'm going to put a link if you want to go read it, and I encourage you to check it out. The word vegan has become toxic for business, and products that are being made that are 100% vegetarian, companies are making a conscious decision not to call them vegan because of all the judgmentalism, the negative baggage that's associated with the word, the finger pointing, the finger wagging they talk about, and how people become defensive around vegans because they think they're going to be attacked by vegans. Fascinating article. It shows you where big business, many big businesses, there are a few small exceptions of businesses run by vegans, but for the most part, business is staying away from the word vegan, which is a loss. I think it's getting worse right now. When I look at where YouTube and social media is going in veganism, there's a lot of conflict, there's a lot of negativity. And I don't know what the answer is. I just kind of want to start a discussion here and see what other people are thinking about it, whether they agree. And if they agree, then what do we do? What do we do about it? What action can we take to solve the problem? One thing that pops to mind that I think is a kind of a drag on veganism are these response videos. People going and kind of attacking or educating people, high profile other YouTubers, and I think it's backfired on us. A couple years ago freely went after Kayla Itsines. Now that I think was totally legitimate, and I supported her on that at the time. Kayla Itsines is selling a program. She's selling a diet program which sort of teaches eating disorders, really. It was reading through the manual. You can have 6 grapes at 3 o'clock. You can have 3 almonds. It's like teaching you how to screw yourself up about food and restrict. And so when Freely lit into her and tried to expose the problem with her diet, I think that was entirely appropriate. I have made videos, fat shaming videos with Dr. McDougall. We have a series where we go through and we expose guys that are selling diet books. They're selling low carb, high protein, high meat, paleo type diets. And we go and make fun of these authors who are overweight. How can you be selling a book on weight loss and you yourself are fat? While I normally think that fat shaming is wrong, I think that going after people who are selling a way not to be fat and showing that, wait a sec, you're fat, how can you be an expert on this? I think that's okay. I think that's totally appropriate, just like I think it's appropriate to go after Kayla Itsines. Where I think we're getting a black eye are in these videos that are aimed at high-profile YouTubers with a lot of subscribers to try to educate them and where, you know, we're told, hey, make sure they see the video, get the video in there and start some kind of, you know, educational conflict. I think that those are bad for veganism. I think that Freely kind of stumbled. She took a little misstep when she went after Casey Neistat a few weeks ago. I mean, Casey's not in the meat business. Casey's just has a great image and a lot of followers. I like Casey, I watch his videos. And to send a bunch of people over there with a video that's taken some of his video and then cut in some slaughterhouse video and people exhorting him to watch it, that I don't think that did anything good for veganism. I think that that made people think vegans are a bunch of assholes, you know, because that's how I felt when I saw it. Wow, these vegans are a bunch of assholes, you know, going in, and Casey Neistat even came over and posted, you know, how dare you take my footage and my music and use it, you know, to get views and sell your ebook and so on. You should be ashamed of yourself. And then many of the responses on that were like, watch the video, which is like, to me, that's the wrong response. It should be, I'm sorry, you know, sorry about that. So that's, I think we have to distinguish between going after somebody who's in the business, who is actively promoting, selling, trying to get people to eat more animals or do something, and versus just somebody who's just living their life on YouTube and may happen to go to In-N-Out Burger as part of their life. But I think it's a mistake, and that it hurts us. It makes us look like kind of fanatical, angry, unreasonable, not nice people. And that is what then seeps out into the marketplace and the reputation that vegans get. And then companies go, you know what? Let's not put that word on our products. So, you know, one type of response video is legitimate, and the other, I think, is harassment. And if veganism is about harassment, then it's not really a positive movement. It's like a bowel movement. It's just a bunch of shit. And by the way, those attack or response videos, they're not educational, they're marketing. They're a way to get people to come to your channel and get more views on your videos. So it seems to me no one is thinking about the big picture. You know, how is veganism coming off in the marketplace, in the greater world? It's just kind of response video over here, let's rush over there, one over here, let's, you know, scream at this guy to look. Well, watch the video, watch the video. My son has a friend who has gone vegan recently. He started eating a vegan diet, and he was asking my son about, where do you get those shoes? Because he's getting into not wanting to use animal products in general. But interestingly, he doesn't want to call himself a vegan because he's got a really bad view of vegans. I think that's unfortunate, because I think veganism is a statement that when you live it, it is an opportunity for other people. People might get defensive, they might not, but it is a way to help people think. But if it's coming off so negatively as it is, then what's the point? You know, what are we doing? One big problem I see is that too many of the online vegan audience is susceptible to somebody saying, the animals, and then they'll, whatever is being called on them to do, they'll do, because they're good-hearted people, they want to do something for the animals. But what they're really doing is helping somebody get more views, make more money, and expand their, you know, reach on YouTube, as opposed to anything really regarding the animals. And in fact, you know, they are unintentionally participating in something that's hurting veganism way more than it's helping animals. It's hurting veganism out in the world, because people end up thinking vegans are assholes. And they're right. And so you see companies that don't want to put the word vegan on their product. You see restaurants that used to be vegan losing the word vegan from a restaurant, you know, that's serving all vegan food. So I think significant damage is being done unwittingly by vegans who are just kind of in this follower mentality. And as I say, it's like the dog whistle. As soon as they hear for the animals, they'll go do whatever without really thinking for themselves, like, is this really going to help the animals? Is this really going to help the cause of veganism? Some people make videos and they say that veganism is a social justice movement. Meanwhile, they're sitting in their apartment, you're talking to their camera, posting it, and then, you know, going out for lunch. Where's the social justice in just making videos saying it's a social justice movement? Where's the doing of something? I mean, I know that vegans want to be involved, they want to do something. When we put on our Meals for Health program, we just get a slew of volunteers, vegans, who want to come help and volunteer and work in the program. We have to turn people away. So I know the desire is there. And I think social justice, you got to, you know, leave your house and go out into the world. If you're interested in social justice, you've got to interact with people. You've got to find a project or something that you can do as a vegan that brings social justice. One example that I think is a great example is here in Los Angeles. It's called the Burrito Project LA, and it's a group of vegans who get together and feed vegan food to homeless people. And a couple times a month they get together, they hand out vegan burritos. This is the website. This is about food justice. It's about helping people in need and giving them vegan food and giving them the food while it's still being called vegan. These are, good people making a really positive statement on behalf of veganism. They're not out attacking other vegans. They're not out attacking high-profile YouTubers and trying to get them to watch their videos. They're actually out interacting with other people and doing something for other people. And this is the kind of stuff which, when it's covered in the media, makes people go, wow, that's cool. These are some cool people. I'm interested in this. So this is an old problem. This is not a new issue. That's why I made that video about the history of veganism, to show that these same themes come up and crop up, and they haven't really been solved. They haven't adequately been solved. It's going to take solving these to make veganism occupy the position that it really, in my opinion, should have, that it really deserves. I want to read from an article, an interview in Veg News magazine in 2001 from Jim Mason. Jim Mason is an author. He's a longtime animal rights advocate, and he's co-written a book with Peter Singer, who kind of started it all with his book. Do you have any words of wisdom on how the goals of the Animal Rights Network and the Vegan News Network might be reached? Jim Mason says, I want to yell at the grassroots people, the rank and file vegetarian and animal rights people, grow up. They have to learn to be better at choosing what kind of leadership, organizations, and agendas they want to support. It's really a democracy, and they have the ultimate power to determine the course of the animal or vegetarian movement. Way too often, many of them are just so incredibly naive and ill-informed. They fall for one scam or huckster after another in both the vegetarian and animal rights movements. So he seems to be saying that the greatest obstacle to veganism are vegans themselves, that they too easily fall for somebody who's screaming, the animals, and get suckered into some con man who's maybe really looking at his own bottom line, and they don't, really progress. They don't really achieve the goals of spreading this. So what to do? Well, I think the first thing to do is to recognize that there's a problem, that we need to address the problem. Recently, the problem that's being addressed is that my daughters were in a Taco Bell commercial. Is that the problem? Is that what's harming veganism? Because the two actors went and played meat eaters in a commercial? I don't think that really harmed veganism. I think it's something else. And I kind of think the problem is that some vegans, when they become vegan, they sort of lose their humanity a little bit. They lose their kindness. They lose the sense that they're in the world with other people. Suddenly they only want to associate with vegans. They're going to be super judgmental. And it's very easy to suck them in to go over and be mean to somebody who's not vegan. I think that's a real problem, that people feel they can be an asshole for the animals. And maybe what we need is a group. Maybe we need a kindness response team. Maybe when we as vegans see other vegans going out and attacking someone that we think, educating someone that we think doesn't deserve to be bullied or stalked, that maybe we need to go in there as vegans and say, hey, no, listen, don't watch the video, don't worry about that. That does not represent veganism. Those are just some crazy jerks. That's not what vegan is about. I'm sorry you're being disturbed here. I mean, what if that became the story? The story was a big group of vegans who are now trying to police their own community and trying to say, look, we got a bad rap. We look bad. People think we're assholes. But no, those people are assholes. They happen to be vegan, but I'm here to tell you that's not veganism. That's not representing veganism. We do. We're kind. We're not trying to shove something down your throat because we don't want anything shoved down our throats. Or are the asshole vegans the only ones that are left? Is it all the sanctimonious, judgmental ones? Are those the ones? And the kind of decent, normal people who are vegan but also want to live in the world with other people, are too small of a number. We're outnumbered now by the ones who want to run around and tell you to come watch somebody's videos. I hope not. And I hope people stop and think about themselves and think about the way that they're conducting themselves and the way that they're portraying veganism out in the world. Because it's important. It's important. If we just become this little fringe kind of angry thing where businesses say, oh, stay away from vegan, it's the kiss of death, it's poison, don't put that on your packaging of your vegan products, then we know we've really failed. That is failing the animals. Maybe it's not failing the person who's making money on their videos. It is ultimately failing the animals. I want to mention the new guide that's come online called The Vegan Cheetah. And he's someone I found, maybe a month ago. He's offline right now. There's a copyright dispute that's taken him offline, but hopefully that'll be resolved soon and he'll be back on. He's a kind of a comedian. He's not an activist or advocate. He's like an entertainer. And he's sort of a little like Jon Stewart, who just makes jokes and makes jokes about people. And he's, what would you call it? A troll. He's a troll. I like trolls. I'll do a little trolling myself at times. And he's hilarious. He's bright and he's very funny. He's very entertaining. And he says outrageous things about people. And of course, he aims at the biggest people. He says things about Freely and Duran Ryder and so on, which everybody knows are total nonsense. Nobody takes it seriously. But he's very funny and he's very entertaining. He also has sort of social commentary mixed in. He's got some really interesting opinions, some of which I think he's right on, others with, I'm not so sure. But it's a great show to help people think and think for themselves. He's kind of on a number of these themes. So I'm hoping he's back online soon. I think he will be. He's someone that has something to contribute. And I just mentioned him as an example of people thinking for themselves, people kind of stepping outside of the paradigm of, okay, what are we doing? Who are we going after this week? And really kind of thinking about, what are we doing here? And also, he's just very funny. That's the real reason to watch him, is to have a nice laugh. So the bottom line is, I think too many vegans check their mind at the door, and they're just kind of part of the herd, and they're not really thinking about it. When they need to think about it, they need to make sure they're picking, the right leaders, the right people to follow and think about. Don't just do things mindlessly. I want people to agree with us, but not by punching them in the face. What are your thoughts? Share some comments. That's it for today. I'll be back soon. Bye-bye.